And welcome. This is Global Unified Breathing, and I'm Paula Rowe. And if you'd like to, after the show, send me a message or get in touch with me, please go over to globalunifiedbreathing.com or send me an email, globalunifiedbreathing@gmail.com. And the name of the show today is Breathing to Heal: Challenges of Anxiety and Post-Traumatic Stress. And this was what I really became aware of this week, is that, we're at this point now where we need to take our lives back, empower ourselves, and learn some new tools and fix the things that we can. Not a quiet kind of defeated, where there's an inner chaos within uh, a lot of people and they're not talking about it, they're not coming together. And this is causing a lot of stress and anxiety because collectively we feel everybody. We are all one and we all breathe one breath. Everyone at some time or another has some form of stress and anxiety worldwide. And what I'd like to do is make a suggestion that the breath can interrupt this static, chaotic energy within us. Just learning a technique of breathing 10 to 20 minutes, if possible, every day. I'm not talking about anything real strenuous. I'm talking about a real beautiful rhythm impulse of the universe, which brings me back to the mother's breath, the 7-1-7-1 count. Inhaling on 7 into the solar plexus, holding on 1, exhaling through the upper chest on 7, sending out that radiating light and love, holding on 1, 7-1-7-1. And when we practice this a couple times a day, even we all have phones now with alarms on them. But I want to talk to you about why we need to do this. Anxiety and panic attacks are now all too common with many of us, and some people don't even realize that they're in a severe panic and anxiety attack. They become used to it. And a lot of people that I know, clients that have had this, retreat into isolation. And isolation is an interesting thing, that when we're going through something that is a suppressed emotions deep inside ourselves, as society goes, we all have been taught, I'll be just fine, I'll go over here and I'll remove myself from maybe even an embrace, from love, from communicating how we feel. And a lot of us are terrified. I know that when it comes to, somebody going through really high moments of panic and stress, a lot of people turn their backs. I know I've had this experience where, after I went through something in my life, an incident, it scared other people to see how much energy comes out of one person when they're in a panic attack. Our emotions at this level are just a pool of unresolved, mostly highly charged emotions with underlying currents that are running through us. And we've gotten used to being at this level where we're taught, to go away, to retreat, to, don't bring it out into public. Don't show that part of ourselves. I can't begin to tell you how sad it is when I hear a client yesterday, someone said to me, I'll just go to bed for the day. And I was like, what? For the day, I'll retreat and pull the covers over my head. And sometimes I give permission to myself just to stay in bed all day. And I said, why would you do that? Well, and mostly it was because no one else was there. And I thought, how sad that is that some of us have no one. We're on this planet with how many billions of people, and we have no one. And we were taught that, when people are going through things like, oh, leave them alone, they're just going through a divorce, a bankruptcy, a death of someone, a new challenge, a new job, an end of a relationship. I mean, it doesn't even have to be anything that big, but it's how we deal with these changes in our lives that we seclude ourselves off from the rest of humanity. And I'd like to say that I think we're going in the wrong direction. And we retreat into what? For so many people, we retreat into our electronic devices. We take our phone and we get in bed and we listen to someone else. We are not listening to a friend, or a friend isn't listening to us. We put headphones on and we shut the other world off, and we make the phone our world. Or is it our laptop? We retreat into being taught and we feel like we're learning. Yeah, there's a purpose for all of that. But to make that be a priority over another living, breathing human being. Or we have screens that are the size of walls now, that I know people that have said to me, uh, I'm just going to stay at home and watch TV all day. And I'm just like thought about, the receiving energy from a TV. And yes, there is energy coming off the TV. Instead of receiving energy from another human being, that maybe we're asking someone to listen to us. And maybe, for all of us, sometimes some of us are just so uncomfortable that we'd rather have everyone suppress all of our emotions, suppress our reactions, don't feel. And I'd like to say that I think God, I think Source would have us go towards people instead of away from them. Go towards them. The healing happens with each other, and also not with an electronic device. So, also, the mere fact of just going outside and connecting back to nature if we're alone. I remember a long time ago, I was reading the book called The Hopi Survival Kit, or the Hopi Survival, I can't remember, but it was the survival strategy of the Hopi. Talking to my father about it, he's the one who bought the book for me, and said to me, someday you might need this. And I thought to myself, okay, Dad. And I read the book, and it was quite profound, especially right now, because what it does is it calls for us to go to the earth, to go to the trees, to go to the water, to go to the land, to go to the sky, to go to the birds, all the things of nature, to heal what's happening to us right now. And so, with all of that, I want to remind you that the mother's breath is the breath that is the impulse of the cosmos. 7, 1, 7, 1, 7, 1. And this, what this does is it brings us into a frequency of being centered within ourselves, because the in-breath is into the solar plexus, which is the cauldron, right? Where the alchemy happens, where we receive the gold within ourselves by breathing in the source, on that in-breath of 7, holding 1 count, and then exhaling from the upper chest, this energy of light and love to all God's children, to everything. Even the insects receive love and light, to realize that one breath that moves out from us and what it can create, not only inside of us, especially if we know someone who's having panic attacks or anxiety or even post-traumatic stress. So I'm just going to tell you a little story. When I didn't even realize, I've had a few incidents, unfortunately, in my life that put me into post-traumatic stress. And the last one that happened, I didn't even realize I was in post-traumatic stress until I was sitting there talking to someone. And I realized that I couldn't seem to grasp my own breath. And that shocked me, because I thought, oh, and everything around me was kind of surreal until the person sitting across to me said, I'm going to send you to the hospital because right now I can't talk to you. And I thought, what? And she said, darling, you're in post-traumatic stress disorder. And I said, what makes you say that? Which cracks me up now. And she said, you're not fully here. You're not in your body. And you're also not making the connection about what's happening to you. So it was a holistic center. I went, even though I realized that I was about to enter into another dark night of the soul. So I went to the hospital, where there was part of the cancer center has a holistic healing adjacent to it. And when I went there, I realized that the woman who was trying to assist me and help me was going to give me breath techniques. And so I stayed and I did that. And I realized that when I got home, I was thinking to myself, I'm going like, hey, wait a minute, I know how to do that. And proceeded to make sure that I was breathing right immediately, sat down or laid down and started breathing in the mother's breath, staying there until I felt myself very present to the anxiety that was running through my body. And the frequency was chaotic and staticky. And I was not breathing properly at first at all. Post-traumatic stress. The anxiety level was beyond anything, but underneath that was grief. And I didn't want to go in there until I realized I know how to do this. I can allow myself to open the door and walk through and sit in a darkness of my own grief. Sit in there breathing. 7-1, 7-1, 7-1, becoming a lighthouse of source light as I'm receiving the inhale from God, and I'm extending it out to all of humanity through my out breath. Remember the count. 7 on the inhale, hold, and then on the exhale, it's 7, and on hold. It doesn't matter if you do this fast or slow. What matters is the count, connecting to the impulse of the cosmos. The mother's breath, the 7-1, is actually a very ancient breathing technique. It is depicted on the walls inside of some of the pyramids. I've seen pictures and I realize that breath and breathing to heal ourselves, to elevate and evolve ourselves, is very, very ancient and very sacred. So here I am breathing, and I'm saying I'm in post-traumatic stress disorder. And, it took me a while meaning this type of post-traumatic stress brought me into a pinnacle, because remember, when your breathing is off, you're suppressing so much from your past, but also you're suppressing what's happening in the now moment, because you're not in alignment with the impulse of the breath that is trying to run through you, that you're receiving from source. So everything kind of gets out of whack. So post-traumatic stress, the symptoms affect the central nervous system. It affects our immunity, affects our sleep, and our digestive. These are the main components that it affects. I really feel that, in crisis, we have to remember that to move towards people that we know, not away from them. This is what we've let go of, is that coming together principle, which, remembering we're all one breath. We're all one breath. So when we go towards someone, we can let them know that aloneness, and that, we move away because we feel shame. We move away because we feel guilty. How many times have we said, I'll be okay. Just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Echo, just leave me alone. And this is what we've gotten used to. I need to be alone. I'll be okay. And I think about how God's children, how many of us have pulled the covers over our head and said, that's the way to process it. So I think about an incident that I went through. I was a victim of a very violent attack. I had already been a breath worker for, I think, 7 years. And someone jumped the wall, grabbed a knife out of the kitchen sink, came upstairs, and I was attacked. There's many other things about this situation, but just to say that. So he caught me at a point where I had just done 2 hours of self-healing, evolving around the wheel of life. I was very much not in this reality, and in walks a perpetrator into my dream world with a knife. and a ski mask. Needless to say, right after that, the first thing that I did or had someone do for me was to call all breath workers in the community everywhere. I need you right by me at this moment so that I can breathe this out of my body. But what happened was it triggered every event that had happened already in my life that had put me in levels of post-traumatic stress disorder. And here I'm standing with this event, but all of them. And needless to say, for the next 7 days, I was surrounded with people breathing me and breathing with me. And I did not want to get stuck in that realm where that went. It altered my life and it went very, very deep. This is the amazing thing, how deep some of these events that we have in our life happen to us. So that level of post-traumatic stress is right on the level. I have had clients when I lived in a different area who had come back from Vietnam who were in severe post-traumatic stress disorder also. And I really, when they were breathing out these traumas out of the body and expressing them, it was one major healing to be able to walk back into life because the breath helped us move out the energy and continue to breathe no matter what, moving out energy. Anxiety and panic and post-traumatic stress disorder is not a natural way of living. And we have many souls around us, each and every one of us, who are experiencing this right now. And we need to open our hearts and go to them. I seem to attract these types of people, which is okay because I can say, I get it. I understand. And teach them to breathe. Remember today, mother's breath. 7 on the inhale, hold, breathing into the solar plexus. Hold, when you bring it into the solar plexus, it's the cauldron. It's making gold. And then moving it up to the above in the upper chest and exhaling it out like a lighthouse, like a beam of light going out to all of humanity, hitting each one of us with that frequency that we have received from Creator Source, hitting every single living, breathing being with that amount of love and light and peace. That's what Global Unified Breathing wants to do. It wants to unify us through the breath and sending it out to each and every one of you. So I know we didn't breathe today, but I really wanted to talk about this because we need to take a look at how we see these things happening and coming out from ourselves, reaching out to someone instead of being stuck in our own pillar of our own stuff. You know, if we have this, then we need to heal this. And it's totally possible. But we have to remember about others, about all the others that are there right in front of us. And they're everywhere. You can see the chaos on the inside, but on the outside, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'll be okay. That's our line. It's what everyone says. I'll get through it. Your breath is notifying you. If you're breathing, and hopefully you are, breathing more than just walking around, is the gratitude for being able to become aware of the power of your own breath. Amazing power of your breath, connected directly through the source energy. What a blessing. The gratefulness of that. You guys are here today because you know that and you're aware of that. It's really important to have a compassionate heart and sending this energy out to everyone. So take a look this week and remember, please remember, sit for a few minutes after this is over and inhale on the 7. Remember, making gold within our own solar plexus, the alchemy of all that. It's so powerful. And then bringing it up and then sending it out. I'm sure we all know somebody that we could call right after this call and just tell them, I'm thinking about you. How are you? And really, how are you? You know, it's so funny. I sit in front of so many people in a week's time and I say, so how are you? And then they'll say something. I'll go, no, really, how are you? And then it'll take maybe 3 times and they'll realize I'm really asking. I'm asking for real. How are you? You know, we carry right now in our bodies, and it's really time for us to take our lives back, take our power back, use our breath so that we can evolve out of these patterns. These, you know, as humans, we are some of the most self-destructive patterns ever, and we need to breathe them out. So I hope that you gained some wisdom. I hope that when this call is over that you'll sit, close your eyes. You don't need music, just focus on the breath. Lay down if you normally get lightheaded when you breathe, which is really normal, you know, and in a frequency of love for life, love for the Creator, love for service of all humanity, love because it's the highest frequency, is breathe the mother's breath. Breathe it like you've never breathed it before. I've been doing this for the last few days, and I'm really feeling how much energy is going out and also how much I'm receiving back. It's pretty incredible. And I'm really thinking when I'm breathing the mother's breath about all the things I'm grateful for. And if you don't know, then think about somebody that you love. Someone. And if you don't have a someone, think about what do you love the most? Kittens, babies, puppies. I always say, you know, when I need to really conjure up a lot of joy, I look at little kittens and I look at babies. And I watch movies like that. And the joy of the innocence which we come from, which we've lost, comes back in and ignites. It's like a flame, right? So thank you for being with me today. I love you all. Namaste, beloved. Mighty, mighty, mighty love to all of you. And breathe, please breathe after this stream. And get in touch with me through the website if you have any questions, globalunifiedbreathing.com. Reach out. Let me know what you think. I'd love to breathe with you. I know we didn't breathe this week, but I really wanted to talk about how we can help heal these challenges right now that so many of us have. Namaste.